I'm Nia Malika Henderson this morning with Senator Pat Toomey. 5 questions with Pat Toomey. Talk to me about last night. What do you think the takeaway was from those speeches? You had Condi Rice, you had Susana Martinez, and of course Paul Ryan.
Yeah, well, especially Condi Rice and Paul Ryan, I thought had a big impact on this discussion. Condoleezza Rice gave this really wonderful tie-in of her personal life story with American exceptionalism in a way that I think resonates, probably especially with women. Just a terrifically inspiring story, and at the same time, she reminded us of some really important lessons in foreign policy, namely that there is no substitute for American leadership around the world. And so I thought she did a great job on both fronts.
Yeah. And so going to the election, Pennsylvania, I mean, I think Obama won it by double digits in 2008. How do you flip that state and put it in?
Well, can I go back, though? I didn't mention Paul Ryan's speech, which I
thought
was,
sure. Talk about Paul Ryan's speech.
And I got to tell you, I thought he just hit it out of the park. Part of his job was to make a very persuasive indictment of the president's policies. I thought he did that in a devastatingly effective way without ever seeming or being unpleasant or nasty or mean-spirited. He came across as the nice guy that I know him to be.
Right.
But not given any ground. I mean, where the president has had failed policy, he underscored it, I thought, very, very effectively. The thing about Pennsylvania is, you're right, 2008, President Obama won big. But the more, I think, relevant elections were the elections of 2010. I was able to win running as a conservative Republican in a big, sometimes a blue state. And I don't see why Governor Romney can't do every bit as well as I did. I think he's going to carry Pennsylvania.
Alrighty, that's a big prediction.
I understand that.
Can you talk a little bit about the voter ID laws? Democrats have said this would be a way to suppress voters' rights and older people and minorities and young people. What's your sense?
Well, it's not true. The fact is, this is designed to make it very, very easy for someone who doesn't already have an ID, and of course, the vast majority of people do, but there's some who don't. And so the law makes it easy for someone to get an ID. And if you don't have one on election day, you can still cast a provisional ballot and then demonstrate that you are who you say you are within a reasonable time period thereafter. But there's many different forms of ID that work. The state government is setting up offices, has set up offices all over the state to allow someone to obtain an ID for the purpose of voting at no charge whatsoever. So it's going to be easy for anybody who wants to vote, as it should be, but it's going to be a little bit harder for the system to lose integrity, and that's important.
I think there are about 8 legislative days left in this calendar. Any predictions about what actually is going to get done, if anything?
I'm afraid that probably about the only major thing that will get done is a continuing resolution to fund the government for the next 6 months or so. And that's, frankly, a complete breakdown on the part of the Senate. I have to say my colleague, Senator Harry Reid, the Democratic Majority Leader, has chosen a strategy that I think is an abdication of responsibility. No budget resolution, no appropriation bills, none of the ordinary legislation that funds and allows the government to function. So instead we're going to do a 1,000-page, literally $1 trillion spending bill that doesn't even address the underlying policy issue. So that's what we'll probably do, and it's a terrible way to run the Senate.
So I know you're a Republican, and you have your guy in Mitt Romney. Is there one good thing that you can point to that President Obama has done as president? Yeah,
President Obama signed into law a bill that I was I wrote much of it. It's called the Jobs Act, and it was very constructive. The president, to his credit, appointed a private sector commission and charged them with identifying regulations that impede capital formation. They came up with some really good suggestions. I teamed up with Democrats in the Senate, including Chuck Schumer and John Tester and Tom Carper, and we wrote the legislation that would codify those ideas, passed the House. We had a fight on the Senate floor, as we should. We won the fight, and President Obama signed it into law. So that is much to his credit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for chatting with me, Pat Toomey. Enjoy your time
on
Tampa. Enjoy those speeches tonight.
Terrific. Thanks very much.